All right, so in a previous video, we looked at the relationship between these angle pairs, or angle pairs and parallel lines. We were talking about what we would need to know about the angle pairs, be they alternate interior, alternate exterior, corresponding or same side interior. What we would have to know about those angles in order to know that the lines were parallel, or to determine that the lines were parallel. So in this case, we're doing something pretty similar. We're trying to figure out what x would have to be in order to make 25x minus 5 work out to be an angle that would make these lines parallel. Okay? So it's pretty much the same as what we did before, just the extra step of having to set up and solve an equation. So if we look here, these are alternate interior angles. And we know if alternate interior angles are congruent, then we would know that the lines are parallel. So that means that if 25x minus 5 were equal to 120 degrees, then the lines would be parallel. So we just set up an equation that says that 25x minus 5 equals 120. We'll solve that equation for x. So let's see, we're going to add 5 to each side. There. We're going to add 5 to each side, so we got 25x equals 125, and then we're going to divide by 25 on each side to get x equals 5. So if x is 5, then 25x minus 5 will be equal to 120, and then we'll know if the alternate interior angles are congruent, and therefore the lines are parallel. Let's go next door here. Here, you'll see that these two angles are on the same side of the transversal, and they're inside the parallel line, so they are same side interior, or sometimes known as consecutive interior angles. And if these two angles are supplementary, then we would know that the two lines are parallel. So we're just going to set up an equation that says that. We're going to say x plus 76 plus x plus 116 equals 180. That's what it means to be supplementary. Now, I put these in parentheses just for the visual, not necessary. All right, so the first thing I'll do is I'll do some combining like terms. I have two x's. I have a 76 and a 116. That makes, let's see, 76, 70 and 110 is 180, 192 equals 180. I'm going to subtract 192 from both sides, and I got 2x equals, let's see, negative 12, divided by 2 on both sides, and x equals negative 6. Okay, so if x is negative 6, then x plus 116 would be, let's see, 110, and x plus 76 would be 70. 110 and 70 make 180, so they'd be supplementary and the lines would be parallel. So keep in mind here, by the way, x turns out to be a negative number, and that's fine. I mean, the angles, it wouldn't make much sense if they were negative, but the x itself could, of course, be negative. We're going to look at something later on where we're going to be finding out what the angles are based on the equations. And then we, if we come up with a negative angle, maybe we did something wrong. All right, we'll go through the rest of these a little bit quicker. Okay. So let's see here. These are alternate exterior angles, so they should be congruent, which means that 11x minus 8, we want that to equal 80. Add 8 to each side, and we get 88. Divide by 11, and we get x equals 8. Here, we've got same side interior angles, so 11x plus 12 plus 11x minus 8. If this equals 180, then the angles will be supplementary. So let's see, I got 22x plus 4 equals 180. I'm going to subtract 4 from both sides. I have 22x equals 176. I'm going to divide by 22 on each side. 22. Man, see, 22 times 5 would be 110 and 60. You know what? Get my calculator out on this one. Of course, I'm sure if for those of you at home who are better at math in your head than me, by the time I get this calculator out of my phone, which is taking me forever, you'll have figured it out. So let's see, can't find my calculator. Oh, hey, look, the package shipped. What do you know? Mark is red. Okay. Well, where are you, calculator? There we go. 176 divided by 22 is 8. There we go. X is 8. Alright. Next up. These are alternate exterior angles. If they're congruent, then the lines will be parallel. So if x plus 117 equals 115 will be set. Subtract 117 from each side. X equals -2. Over here, we've got same side interior angles. If 61x minus 2 plus 60 equals 180, then the lines will be parallel. Let's see, so 61x plus 58 equals 180. Let's subtract 58 from each side. 61x, that would be 122 divided by 61, and x equals 2. Okay, let's do a few more. Alright, these are alternate exterior angles. So if they are congruent, then the lines will be parallel. That means that if 1 plus 33x is equal to 34x minus 2, then the lines will be congruent. So let's see, let's take away 33x from each side. And I've got 1 equals x minus 2. And then if I add 2 to each side, I get 3 equals x. So if x is 3, the angles will be congruent, the lines will be parallel. Here, we've got alternate interior angles. So if these angles are congruent, so if 110 equals 16x minus 2, then the lines will be parallel. So let's see, we're going to add 2 to both sides. So that's 112 equals 16x divided by 16. Let's see, 80 and 32 is 7 equals x. Right? So if x is 7, then 16x minus 2 will be equal to 110, and the lines will be parallel. Here we have same side interior. So if 15x plus 14x plus 6 equals 180, then the lines will be parallel. That means that if 29x plus 6 equals 180, combine like terms, I'm going to subtract 6 from both sides, 174. Let's see, 174 divided by 29. 174 divided by 80 divided by 30 would be 6. Bingo, 6. X equals 6. Okay. Here we go. If these are alternate interior angles, so if they're congruent, if 60 equals 5x plus 15, then the lines will be parallel. So let's take 15 away from each side. 45 equals 5x divided by 5. 9 equals x. So if x equals 9, then the two angles will be congruent, the lines will be parallel. Here, let's see, we have alternate interior angles again. So if 6 plus 12x equals 13x minus 1, then the lines will be, or the angles will be congruent, the lines will be parallel. So let's see, I'm going to take 12x away from each side. 6 equals x minus 1. Add 1 to each side, and we get 7 equals x. So if x is 7, then the two angles will be congruent, and the lines will be parallel. Here we've got same side interior angles. So if 57x plus 1 plus 32x plus 1 equals 180 altogether, the angles are supplementary and the lines are parallel. So let's see, we got 57 to 32, that's 89x, that's a radio station, plus 2 equals 180, take away 2 from each side, 89x equals 178. Divide by 89 on both sides. Well, 90 goes into 182 times, so 89 goes into 178 2 times 2. Alright, so for solving a problem like this, you're trying to figure out what should x be in order to make the two lines parallel. And well, what does x need to be in order to make that angle relationship what we want it to be? Either congruent or supplementary. Most of the time it's going to be congruent. So if it's congruent, then you just take whatever two expressions you have, say they're equal to each other. If it's supplementary, you take whatever two expressions you have, and then write down that added together, they make 180. And then you just kind of whittle it down until you get x equals something. And you're done. All right, good luck.